Well, here we are on day 2 of our daily reflection called The Giant Slayer. And we're going to be looking at God's presence in every situation. And our reference is 1 Samuel 17:4-7. And it says, a champion named Goliath, who was from Gath, came out of the Philistine camp, and his height was 6 cubits and a span. He had a bronze helmet on his head, and he wore a coat of scale armour of bronze weighing 5,000 shekels. On his legs he wore bronze greaves, and a bronze javelin was slung on his back. His spear shaft was like the weaver's rod, and its iron point weighed 600 shekels, and his shield bearer went ahead of him. Goliath's impressive armour and weaponry symbolises the worldly might that intimidates us. Yet despite the formidable appearance, David was not afraid because he knew that God was with him. So as we reflect on how Jesus is present in every situation, just as he was in David's battle, consider how you can find Jesus in your daily struggles. When we read about Goliath's armour in 1 Samuel 17:4-7, we can be struck by the sheer magnitude of the power as described by the detailed list of his weaponry. The passage paints a picture of an invincible warrior, a man who is physically imposing and seemingly unbeatable. His bronze helmet, heavy coated of mail, and his massive spear represented more than just a physical protection. They symbolise the intimidating power and might that the world often puts on display. In many ways, Goliath embodies the challenges we face that seem too strong, too well equipped, and too formidable for us to handle on our own. And in our own lives, we can encounter situations where the odds seem stacked against us, whether it was dealing with a difficult personal decision, navigating a career challenge, or facing a health issue. The armour of these situations, their complexity, difficulty, and the way they loom large in our minds, can make them feel overwhelming, just as Goliath's appearance must have seemed to the Israelites. But then we think of David. Despite Goliath's formidable presence, David was not intimidated. Why? Because he knew that the battle was not just about the physical strength or the military might. It was about God's presence. And David's confidence wasn't rooted in his own ability, but in his awareness that God was with him. This is the key difference between how David and the Israelites viewed the situation. While the Israelite army focused on Goliath's size and strength, David focused on God's presence. This reflection leads us to a crucial application that in every challenge we face, no matter how intimidating or overwhelming it may seem, God is present. Just as Jesus was present with David, he is with us in every situation we encounter. The problem is that it's easy to lose sight of the truth when we are being overwhelmed by the armour of our challenges. The world often tells us that victory is about having the best resources, the most strength, or the most influence. But David's story reminds us that true victory comes from recognizing and relying on God's presence in every situation. So when we're faced with daunting situation, instead of focusing on the size or difficulty, that we will remind ourselves that God is with us. We will consciously shift our focus from the problem to God's presence, just as David did. And we will make it a habit to start our day by acknowledging God's presence in every situation we will face, whether it's routine task or a significant challenge. we will remind ourselves that we are not alone. So in our daily struggles, we will be intentionally looking for where Jesus is working. And this might mean pausing to pray in the middle of a stressful moment, asking for his guidance when uncertain, or simply trusting that he is with us when things don't go as planned. So just as David was confident that God would give him the victory over Goliath, we will cultivate a similar confidence. And this doesn't mean we always get the outcome we desire, but it does mean trusting that God is in control and that he is working for our good, even when the path is unclear. So Lord, open our eyes to see your presence in every situation we face. Help us to rely on you, knowing that you are with us in every challenge. And when we are tempted to be overwhelmed by the difficulties before us, remind us that you are greater than any obstacle. Strengthen our faith and give us the courage to face each day with the assurance that you are by our side, leading us, guiding us, and fighting for us. Amen. This reflection on day 2 is a powerful reminder that God's presence is the ultimate source of strength in any situation. So by focusing on his presence rather than the challenges themselves, we can navigate life's difficulties with confidence and peace, knowing that we are never alone. So until tomorrow, I look forward to sharing more with you about the Giant Slayer.